centuries ago, in a small portion of this vast world of ours, there lived a people called the children of Israel. From them came certain men and women through whom God revealed himself to all mankind. One of these was Elijah, a fearless prophet. A long time ago, the country of Israel had a king named Ahab. His wife, Queen Jezebel, worshipped the false god Baal, and soon King Ahab and all the people were worshipping idols too. Then God sent a prophet named Elijah to remind the people of Israel that they were his people and he was their God. Elijah went to the palace to see King Ahab and told him God was very angry because the people had forgotten him and were worshipping false gods and idols. He told the king what punishment God intended to bring upon them. He said, "As the Lord God of Israel lives, whom I serve, there will be no dew nor rain these coming years until I say so." Then God told Elijah, "Go and hide by the brook called Cherith. You will have water and food there." So Elijah went into the wilderness to live. He drank from the brook, and every morning and every evening the wild birds brought him bits of bread and meat. But after a while the brook dried up because there was no rain. Then God sent Elijah to a nearby city to meet a widow who was to give him food and a place to stay. She and her little boy were gathering sticks at the city gate. Elijah said, "Please bring me a little water to drink and also a bit of bread." And the widow said, "As the Lord your God lives, I have nothing baked. All I have is a handful of flour and a little olive oil. I'm gathering a few sticks and I'm going to prepare something for myself and my boy. After that is gone, we'll probably die of hunger." And Elijah said, "The Lord, the God of Israel, says, the jar of flour will never be used up, and the bottle of oil will never become empty until the day the Lord sends rain." So Elijah stayed for many days with the widow and her son, and there was food enough for everyone, just as the Lord had promised. But one day the widow's son became sick and died. The mother's heart was very sad. Elijah gently took the boy from his mother's arms and carried him to the little room on the roof where he was staying. He laid the boy on his bed and knelt to pray. "O Lord my God, make this child alive again." God heard Elijah's prayer, and soon the boy was with his mother again, alive and well. How happy the mother was. She told Elijah, "Now I'm sure that you are a man of God, and that your words are true." God told Elijah to see King Ahab again. So a meeting was arranged. Ahab was very upset because there had been no rain and there was no food. He blamed it all on Elijah. And Elijah said, "I haven't troubled Israel, but you and your family have, because you have forsaken the commandments of the Lord and have worshipped Baal." Then Elijah suggested that a contest be held between the Lord God and the god of Baal. This would show the people of Israel who the one true God really was. Everyone came to Mount Carmel to watch the contest. There was great excitement. Elijah raised his hand for silence and spoke to the people. "How long you go on limping between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him, but if Baal, then follow him." Then Elijah turned to the priests of Baal. "Give us 2 bulls, and let the prophets of Baal choose 1 bull for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on the wood, but put no fire under it. I'll prepare the other, and put it on the wood, and put no fire under it. You call on the name of your God, and I will call on the name of the Lord. And the God who answers by fire, he is God." All morning long, the priests of Baal called out to their God to send down fire and light the wood of their altar, but nothing happened. Elijah began to make fun of them. "Cry louder, he's your God. And either he's lost in thought or on a long journey. Or maybe he's asleep and needs to be awakened. Still nothing happened. Baal would not answer the priests, and no fire came from the sky. Late in the afternoon, Elijah got ready for his turn in the contest. He chose 12 stones, one for each tribe of Israel, and rebuilt the altar of the Lord that had once stood there. The other bull and firewood were placed on the altar, and a ditch dug all around it. To prove how powerful the Lord God was, Elijah had the altar drenched with water, and the ditch around the altar filled with water. When everything was ready, Elijah said a prayer. O Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that you are God of Israel, and that I am your servant, and that you told me to do all that I have done. Answer me, O Lord, answer me so that these people may know that you, O Lord, are God. Suddenly, a bright flame of fire flashed down from the sky. It burned up the bull, the wood, and even the stones, and the water in the ditch was completely dried up. Then the people knew that the Lord was the only true God. They bowed down to worship him. When Queen Jezebel heard what had happened, she was furious. May the gods punish me if I don't put Elijah to death by this time tomorrow. To escape the queen's anger, Elijah ran away and hid in a cave on Mount Horeb. He was discouraged and wanted to die. But God knew that Elijah was hiding on the mountain and called to him, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" And Elijah said, "I have been fighting for you, O Lord, God of hosts, because the people have forsaken your covenant. Now I am the only one left." God told Elijah that he was not alone, that there were still 7,000 people in Israel who worshiped the Lord God, and there was more work to be done, including the training of a new prophet to take his place. So Elijah came down from the mountain and found the young man whom God had chosen to help with his work. His name was Elisha. He was plowing in a field. To show Elisha that God wanted him to be the next prophet in Israel, Elijah put his coat around the young man. Elisha left his work in the field to go with Elijah and help with God's work. Many years passed. Elijah knew his work on earth was nearly finished and offered to do one last thing for Elisha. He said, "Before I'm taken away, tell me, Elisha, what you would like to have me do for you." Elisha said, "Please let me have a double share of your spirit." "You've asked a hard thing. But if you see me as I am taken from you, you will receive what you have asked for." As the two men walked along, Elijah was suddenly taken up into heaven. Elisha was left alone, but he had seen Elijah taken up. Elisha picked up Elijah's coat that had been dropped at his feet. He knew this was a special sign that God would be with him, helping him in his work, just as he had always helped Elijah. Elijah had been a brave and fearless prophet. Now it was Elisha's turn to speak out for God and help the people of Israel follow God's ways of living. Here ends this tape. Please rewind it to the very beginning.